Pete, good morning. Okay, so Crown,
Hi, Pete.
before we get to possible investment opportunities for hungry punters out there, could Crown actually lose its licence?
Isn't it funny? It's like you're talking your own book here, Pete, interested in whether you want to invest in Crown or not.
Well, I got to tell you, I remember when the bid came through, a couple of months ago, and it took off, and I'm like, damn it, I should have got on then. So is it coming back into play again?
It's a gamble. It's clearly a gamble. And you also remember that a company like Crown is also going to suffer because of the fact that fund managers nowadays care about ESG issues, environmental, social, and governance issues around companies. But the thing is this, Pete, it's a $10 stock right now. There are question marks about whether Mr. Finkelstein, the Royal Commissioner, could take away the licence. Look, and the business community doesn't think he would go that far. 12,500 jobs rest on it. And, of course, it's important for Victorian tourism. The licence would go to somebody else, and they would also make a bid for the assets like, the Crown Casino, the hotel group and whatever. And that's already on the table anyway for a takeover. Looking at a $10 price, Pete, look, the analysts out there, the experts who look at this company, think it's a $12.24 stock, which is about a 24% rise. So if anyone's a punter like you out there, that's your punt. If they keep their licence, the share price will spike and there'll be a chance to make money. But you have to gamble that the Royal Commission doesn't do anything to really spook it and send the price down to maybe $8 or $9. Eventually, whoever buys it, their share price will benefit from it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been quite the story, hasn't it? It shot up 20%. That was a huge day a couple of months ago, and it's sort of gradually, over the course of that time, it's come down. But anyway, we'll watch and see how that goes. Now, onto this story on the front page of the Australian today, Pete. It's the Dominic Perrottet, the New South Wales Treasurer, is doing some economic modelling. And it takes in the potential for this lockdown to extend until mid-September. Now, that's going to scare a lot of people. That's probably going to scare a lot of businesses as well. So what do you make of the economic consequences of that?
Yeah, and I think Dominic Perrottet is doing this to put the pressure on Josh Frydenberg to seriously think about bringing JobKeeper back. Pete, you're right. Psychologically, I've already talked to some small business owners today who can't believe it. They've got their workers at home. They know their workers aren't working at the same pace because they can't actually even give them the work to work at the same pace at home. And I think that this is a real dangerous situation for consumer confidence and business confidence because some employers will start cutting back on their workers' days and their payments as a consequence of it. So I think this is a pressure play from Dominic Perrottet. Most of us thought the worst case scenario would be end of August for this lockdown in Sydney. To take it to the middle of September would be a terrible thing, both for the economy, psychology, and the likelihood of the Morrison government being re-elected in next year's poll, because this really would undermine the confidence in this government. So JobKeeper would be the only way out for Josh Frydenberg.
Okay, we'll see if he continues to resist that in the coming days and weeks. Meanwhile, Pete, the stock market last week, despite all of this news, it actually rose. Why was that? And what are you forecasting this week?
Yeah, what's really interesting, Peter, is that we're being driven by what's going on in Wall Street and even Europe. There, the coronavirus cases and the Delta strain are on the rise, but the vaccination rates are so much higher. The market is actually gambling that the great news on company profits, because we're in a rebound mode after the lockdowns of the previous 6 to 9 months. Now all these economies are rebounding at a rate of knots. They're believing that the vaccination rates will cancel out the implications of the Delta strain. And at the moment, the optimists are in control, and I think our market will be influenced by it. But if we get a decision that we're going to go to the middle of September, that will mean that New South Wales will have one negative quarter. Hopefully we would rebound in December. But the national economy also could have a negative quarter because of New South Wales. We are the biggest economy in the country. So all of this is, to my way of thinking, driven by international forces. But the local ones could take shape if this lockdown becomes worse than we expect.
Okay. Peter Switzer, thank you. We'll talk to you soon.